Thank you very much. Um, my name is Reverend Father Emem Umoren, and it's the same person that you are talking about as Reverend Father Dr. Emem Umoren. Honestly, I prefer to go by the name and title Reverend Father Emem Umoren with reasons. And I will tell you the reasons with time. But it's my pleasure to introduce myself to you in the context of my celebration of 25 years as a priest. Reverend Father Umoren is a priest, a Catholic priest of the Catholic Diocese of Ikot here in Nigeria. I was born 51 to 52 years ago to Mr. and Mrs. Boniface and Mary Boniface Umoren in Ikoromono village of Ndodino clan in Oboro Kara local government area, precisely on the 1st of November 1969. And it's a privilege that my birthday was on the Feast of All Saints. And not as if I'm a saint, but I really aspire to be one. And that's why I am happy that Providence brought me into a family circle where I was brought up in the fear of God, thanks to my late parents. And today, as I celebrate 25 years as a priest, I look back to those good old days when I would wake up and then my mother would make sure we say morning prayer together, send me to the stream to fetch water, come back and do my morning function before I trek down to the primary school. And even though my parents were considered not poor, they would not carry me on their bike. They would have to trek to the primary school. So I struggled with their own direction. And today I feel very proud that God has elevated me to where I am now. And I was ordained a priest. I don't want to bore you with other details of my early days. Surely I went to a primary school. I didn't go to a nursery school. And from the primary school to the minor seminary, Queen of Apostles Seminary, Afagabo, to the major seminary. And eventually I was ordained a priest, 25 years, precisely on the 24th day of August, 1996. For the past 25 years, I have, under the direction of two bishops of this diocese, I have served in different institutions, parishes, and in places that have given me a lot of experience, a lot of exposure. And for many reasons, I have come during these days to tell God, thank you. And I am not kidding about it. I have many reasons to tell God, thank you. But I would say paramount among all those reasons would be the gift of life and the gift of vocation. For those two, I cannot thank Him enough. So when I celebrate, as I'm celebrating now, Silver Jubilee, I'm not celebrating any achievement, no. I'm not celebrating any achievement. I'm celebrating the grace of God, especially for the gift of life and vocation. Without life, there will be no vocation. Even though we are talking about Silver Jubilee, without life, there would have been no vocation. And that's why I treasure my title as Reverend Father, and I prize it over every other title. Yes, I have a PhD, which I worked for, I read for, and I earned, I would say. It's an academic degree. Anybody can work for it, anybody can earn it with hard work. But the gift of the priesthood is priceless, and it's a gift. It's basically a gift from God. And if God decides to give you, it's a privilege. That's why, even though people would like to call me, even my students in the university call me doctor, and I tell them, yes, I'm not denying that, but I prefer to be called Reverend Father, because this is a title I could not buy. This is a title I could not earn. This is a title I have only been privileged to receive as a gift, and I treasure it. So I'm telling God, thank you very much for this, and of course that tells you I have really enjoyed and been fulfilled in my apostolate. And for 25 years, a lot of things have happened. I have had the pains I've had the gains, I've had the advantages and disadvantages, but weighing all these and putting everything together, I still have reasons to say, thank you, Jesus. Thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for the gift of my vocation. The greatest joy I have in serving God for 25 years is that I am still serving Him. Because when you work for somebody and the person allows you to continue to work for him, it means the person has, to some extent, seen your struggles and your worth. I know, like every other sincere person, that I am not worthy. I do not deserve this. As I rendered in one of my songs, it is not by power, it's not by might, I don't deserve this. But since God has allowed me to keep serving Him, He has allowed me to be worthy to stand in His presence and minister. It is the greatest joy, and it is my fulfillment. So I also draw fulfillment from the fact that wherever I have been posted to, I find joy in doing my little best, and I just look back and see that the little best is blossoming, is bearing fruit. Like out of the 25 years as a priest, I have worked in the parish for only 6 years. So 19 of the 25 years I have spent in schools, in institutions. I've worked with young people. I've been a teacher in a boys' school. I have been a teacher and even a principal in a girls' school. And now I'm principal in a mixed school, boys and girls. And nothing gives me more joy than just seeing these children come around and they keep calling you Father, 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 because they see you as Father. And at the end of it, I find out that in some little way, I'm able to be Father to them. That gives me a lot of fulfillment. It gives me a lot of joy. And as I've said, the best thing is that I am still here. And if God had not wanted me to be here, I wouldn't have been here. I was parish priest in Umoren and in Ekparakwa for a total of 6 years. After that, I came to the school. And even while I was principal of St. Columbanus in the early stage, I was also overseeing Ikwen Parish. So the point I'm trying to make is not to count the number of years as such. I just want to show that I have spent more time in schools, in institutions with the kids than I have spent in pastoral work in the parishes. I always would want, sometimes I don't succeed, I'm a human being, I can't do everything. I always want anybody coming close to me, especially somebody who is groomed by me, to grow up to be better than I am. I always want to see somebody as being better than I am. And that has always given me an opportunity, first of all, to be humble. And secondly, to be respectful. Thirdly, to be tolerant. Seeing somebody as better than you. I know God has given me a lot of gifts. And I am not arrogant about it. I can be proud in the sense of using those gifts, not minding who is saying whatever. But as far as I know that I'm using those gifts to say thank you to God, I can be proud in that sense. I'm not arrogant about it. But I always see somebody there being better than myself. And that has really helped me. It has helped my interpersonal relationship, not only with my superiors, but even with those who are inferior, in quotes, those who are junior to me, my students inclusive. So one thing I struggle to do is to make sure I keep a level relationship with these people. With people who are like older in age, higher in rank, younger in rating and status. And it takes a lot of grace to be able to deal with them, especially when you remember not only parents, you talk about the students themselves, the kids themselves. It's a lot of things. But every time I finish and then I look back and see that if no other person looks up to me, that my children look up to me, one word helps me to grow, and that word is challenge. Whatever I see people say and hear people talk about Father Emem, which is positive, I take it as a challenge. It may not be something that I've already done. If they say, oh, Father is very good in this, Father is very good in this, and deep within me, I may know that I'm not really good in that. I take it as a challenge, and it helps me to grow. And that is how I have lived my life. I make mistakes, and I correct my mistakes. And sometimes, if I'm not able to know the mistakes, I'm just praying God for people who work with me to understand me and tolerate me until I'm able to correct those mistakes, because I am not God. There are times that I personally know that I have not lived up to expectation. But again, that word comes in again, challenge. I challenge myself and I try to do better because I want to do better, knowing that people expect me to do better. My story should motivate a lot of people. And what is my story? I come from a background that was not poor. I can't call my parents poor because at that where they were then, I mean, you remember your late father, everybody in that group. Teachers were considered very rich people, even though they were not paid. They were not really paid, but they were considered the rich people in society. So my parents were teachers. So for you to be a teacher was a privilege. But there were some things my parents denied us deliberately so that we would grow. I'm sure if there were nursery schools by then, my parents would still have sent me to the primary school because they wanted us to learn it the hard way, and honestly, it has paid off. I'm telling every child out there who is having it rough, either because, rough in quotes, either because your parents just can't afford to make it easier or smoother, or because your parents have decided not to do that because they want you to grow. I'm encouraging you. Do what they are telling you to do. It will pay off tomorrow. Whether you're able to go to nursery school or primary school, my message is for both teachers and pupils, especially of the primary schools. Today, there is no doubt, let's face facts, there is no doubt that most nursery schools do better than the public primary schools. But I'm telling you, if the teachers in the primary schools are ready to do their work, and the pupils in the primary schools are ready to be taught, our primary schools can come up again. I'm always saying I'm a proud product of a primary school education, not nursery. We had teachers who did not know so much, not big qualifications, but they were dedicated and they taught us. I still remember my teacher, Mr. Ikutu, taught me mathematics in primary 5, and all those who taught me English and other subjects. Honestly, these were not like the greatest of scholars, but they were committed teachers. So today, you get to the primary school, and the government will be saying, we've done this, we've done that. I'm not getting into that. I'm not judging any system. But we need to look at the primary schools, and we need to encourage the pupils. We need to encourage the teachers. We need to encourage the system. We need to revive the system. We need to revive the system. But if you find yourself as a pupil of a primary school, do not despair. You still have your future. A future that can be greater than mine, and that should be greater than mine. And all it takes is hard work and the blessing of God, and you'll be better than we are. A jubilee is a time of freedom, a time of recompense, a time of forgiveness, a time of being set free, a time of restoration, a time of repayment. It's a time that, you don't even deserve this, but take it. And therefore, Jubilee generally is a good time. I have tried, and I want to thank God for making my 25 years as a priest a daily Jubilee. In the sense that, I have not deserved what I'm getting, but I'm getting it. I have not deserved the forgiveness, I'm receiving it. I have not deserved the recompense, I have it. I have not deserved the repayment. Everything about the Jubilee, I've gotten it without meriting it. Therefore, my Jubilee message is, just as I have prayed and I am taking every day of my 25 years as a Jubilee, make your life a daily Jubilee. See your life as a Jubilee. And that means whatever you have now, it's not by might. You're not in that position because you are the best. You're not in that position because you have so much. It's just because God has decided to make your life a Jubilee. And that means restoration, forgiveness, repayment. And if you make your life a Jubilee, you will appreciate God. I have always seen my life as a Jubilee. Not only on the 28th of November, but before, on that day, and beyond the 28th of November, I want God to continue to make my life a Jubilee. And my message to you is, pray that your life too would be a daily Jubilee. If wishes were horses, there are many people who would ride. But it's not that easy. But let me tell you my wish. By the time I die, my greatest joy, if it is possible to know from that end, my greatest joy would be that people would talk about this man seated here as a reverend father who was a father. I'll be very happy to be remembered as a reverend father who was a father. So I struggle to do that, and I know that I have my inadequacies, but my joy will be to be remembered as a pastor who was a father. And please help me to get to that end. And that's why I treasure my apostolate with the young ones, the little ones in school, the little ones in the parish, because these are the ones who will make me to be remembered tomorrow, not just as a pastor, but as a father. It's Father Emem Umoren, and in the context of the celebration of my silver jubilee as a priest, I'm happy to answer your question that has to do with vocation. I would not have been here celebrating 25 years as a priest if I had not first of all answered a call to the priesthood, to religious life, to service. And today, everybody is called in one way or the other. But let me talk about the call to serve God. And this is like a serious piece of advice to younger ones. Allow God to lead and you follow. Allow God to lead you and you just follow. When once you try to overtake God, you crash. Whether you're called to the religious life, to the priesthood, to the married life, allow God to lead you. And once you think you know better, you can decide for God, you know what is good for you, you crash. You see, sometimes somebody can say, okay, I went to one nursery school today, and I asked them, how many of you here will be reverend fathers? Almost all of them, including the girls, took out their hands. they want to be reverend fathers. And you can say, this is what I want to do. Well, it's good to aspire. It's good to be zealous about something. But at the end of it, surrender it to God. Let God lead you. When God leads you, He may lead you away from what you think. He may even lead you into what you did not prepare for. But before He does that, He will prepare you for it. So my main message to people who today intend to serve God is allow God to lead and you follow. When He leads and you follow, you will not miss your destination. I am not saying that I was very good and I always allowed God to do everything. There were times I made mistakes. And I'm telling you now from experience. I want you to learn from my mistakes and make sure you don't make those mistakes again. But above all, what I am and who I am today is a testimony to the fact that God has been leading the way. So all members of the service team for God, all pastors and all those who feel called to the priesthood, religious life, as pastor in other churches, whatever, I'm telling you, in the context of my Silver Jubilee, please take this piece of advice. Allow God to lead. I want you to come and celebrate with me. It's not easy to follow God. Sometimes His pace is really very, very high, and it will be difficult to keep pace with that. But you need to struggle. And that's the only reason I am telling God, on that day, on the 28th, I will take a bottle of some good drink, at least to congratulate myself for being able to follow Him for 25 years. And I want to invite you to celebrate with me. I want to invite you to thank Him with me for counting me worthy to stand in His presence and serve Him. The Mass is going to be celebrated in this open field. We're praying God for good weather and everything. Whatever He gives us, we will take, but we bring Him for the best. But we'll celebrate the Mass where we can stay together and thank Him. I want to invite you. This is the premises of St. Columbanus Secondary School, Emem, in Umoren local government area of Akwa Ibom State. On the 28th of November 2021, this coming Sunday, by 10 a.m., I'm inviting you to come and celebrate with me. I'm not celebrating any achievement. I am celebrating the grace of God. I'm celebrating the love of God. And all of you who love me, just as I love you, all of you who care about me,
all of you who wish me well, please come celebrate with me. That God will continue to bless us and give us many more years as He wishes. I mean, it's up to Him. But let's just tell Him that we are disposed. I am disposed to continue to follow Him. But for the much that has happened, we need to be thankful. For me, if not for any other thing, as I've said already, for the gift of life, for the gift of vocation,